we go. Welcome, folks. 1 o'clock every Wednesday at this time. You will be able to join us here unless there's some major catastrophe. The world did not end, so we're still here. And I want to welcome everybody to the call. This is the regular Wednesday JV Partner webinar. And on the call, I've got a couple of different people, and I just wanted to quickly say hello to Bill DeWeese. Bill, thank you for being here.
Hey, Fred.
And can you see my screen, Bill?
I can, yes.
So you notice that on the top of that, we have the Bill DeWeese results here.
I did. Wow, that's top billing. I like that.
I know. So I wanted to make sure and ask you to talk a little bit about the fact that the voice-over-training, and we'll bring it up here so people can see it, voice-over-training.org. This site was put up. I mean, I don't know when we switched it over, because originally we had, we originally had it on the realvoiceovertraining.com, but this has probably been up for what, about 4 months?
Yeah, I think we switched over like January, February.
Okay, so in about, let's say, somewhere around 90 days, would that be accurate?
Yeah, at least that. Yeah,
okay.
90 days to 4 months.
Okay, so we'll say 90, let's be accurate here, 90 to 120 days. You have gone from nowhere in the search engines to, and let's tell them some of the results we just saw. Is it number 32 in Google?
Yeah, well, when I checked this morning, it was 36.
Okay, back to 36. Yeah, 36. And
35 in Yahoo.
35 in Yahoo. Okay, so now again, and why don't we tell people a little bit about what have you been doing to sort of make that happen?
Yeah, well, really, most of what I've done is content creation, a lot of blogging, particularly video blogging. Of course, Stanley, your web guy, did a lot of work on the front end to optimize the site, things that are beyond my knowledge and understanding. But my part has been really creating content, and I've been blogging 3 to 4 times a week.
Okay, so that's 3 to 4 times weekly. Which is obviously good because, I mean, we can see the results. It's working. And the other thing that you've been doing is you've been in contact with a lot of sort of industry insiders. Tell people about that as well.
Yeah, I've really, my main strategy, aside from blogging, has been to work the social network, and particularly Facebook. I'm a member of 2 Facebook voiceover groups, the 2 big ones. And between the 2, probably maybe 1,500 members between the 2. So I try to contribute whatever I can. But I also, when I put up a video blog that I think is particularly good, I put a link to it on those groups. And yesterday, one of the, and I haven't told you this yet, Fred, this is news, but one of the administrators of the groups interviewed me and made that interview available to the members of the group.
Got it. So tell me exactly, first off, you found the groups by doing what? By going to Facebook and searching for voiceover? What did you do?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. How did I do that? Yeah, I think I just searched voiceover group or something to that effect. And I remember it was very easy. However I did it, it took me just a matter of a minute to find them.
Excellent.
I think there's a place to search groups in Facebook.
Good. I see. Yeah, and we got a bunch of people that are on. We've got Burke and Dave and Jason. Everybody's on here. Thank you very much, guys. I'll get to you shortly. So you were able to search Facebook for groups that had to do with voiceovers, and then you joined those groups, and you did what?
Well, I began just contributing comments and responding to people who were asking questions or making comments, and then I began posting links to some of my blog posts on there. And I made it a point to also introduce myself to the administrators of those groups.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I did a Skype interview with one of the administrators. He's based in the UK, and I posted that. Did that as a video blog, and that drew a lot of attention from the members of that particular group.
Excellent. And so as a result of that, now you've got people from this. Now, what else have you done? Anything else other than the Facebook kind of stuff?
No, we did a little bit of Facebook advertising. And that was just a very short-lived experimental kind of thing and didn't feel like we were getting the return on investment. So we stopped that.
Yeah.
But it's essentially been this social networking.
Got it. Okay. Well, that's great. And so one of the things that I did is because of Bill's being the, hardest working man in voiceover business, he's also, and by the way, that's a name that we came up with for him, the hardest working man in the voiceover business. It's always nice to have some kind of a little moniker. I met with, and I haven't really, I didn't put that on my list here, but while I was in New York over the last few days, I met with my good friend, an old client, one of my old sort of people that I used to coach, Wendy Weiss. And Wendy wrote a book called. Her book is called Cold Calling for Women. And I coached her to put that book online, and now she's going to have me help her with some. I helped her get that book out and self-published, I should say. And now she wants me to help her with getting all of her business more effectively done online. And Wendy bills herself as the queen of cold calling. Now, I wouldn't
I
want you to
like it.
bill yourself, Bill, as the queen of the voiceover business because we could only operate that in San Francisco and New York in certain areas.
Right, right.
But we're gonna have to do that. But I wanted to show you what I did with this one, which is I took Bill and I did an interview, and I think I showed part of this last time as well. I did an interview with both Bill and Bill O'Hanlon, the two Bills, and I made sure that what I was trying to do here, this site is all about, finding people, partners that I want to work with, right? So I was able to, at JV with Fred, what I did is I got Bill DeWeese and I got Bill O'Hanlon both to agree to do an interview. And I don't know if everybody's seen this. Well, it's an example of sort of what not to do, what to do. But basically, I forget how long this is, about 9 minutes. Oh no, this is 15 minutes long. I did a 15-minute interview and about a 9-minute interview here with Bill O'Hanlon and put these up on this site that's, if anybody wants to look at it, my suggestion is go take a look because I think it's effective. The reason why I did that is because of the success of the numbers having to do with the Fred Info Boot Camp, which, by the way, we have the next boot camp is coming up next week in Vegas. We're filled up for that. So the Fred Info Boot Camp, I used that sort of templated model. So if we go to Fred Info Boot Camp, what I did was I found that this site was pulling so well in terms of its effectiveness.
Welcome,
And all
folks,
it
and
starts
thanks for coming to the
automatically,
Fred
which
Info Boot
sort
Camp
of
site.
bugs me,
I'm
but
sitting
seems to be
here right
working, so
now.
I'm going to stop. But what happens is that this site was pulling so well, and I looked at how I'd formatted it. There are a ton of video testimonials. And I just wanted to sort of copy what I'd done here on that particular site. So now, Bill, is there anything else that you can add to what you're doing back over at voice-over-training.org?
The only other thing that I would add that has been really effective is that when somebody opts in to my website, which now is growing, I mean, there's hardly a day that goes by this and there's not somebody, opting in. I am making it a point to send a video email with a personal welcome. And I almost always get a response back saying, wow, I didn't expect to see this. This is awesome. Thanks so much. Now, there'll come a time when I can't keep up with that probably. But for right now, it's made it a very personal, touch,
I
marketing
like that.
touch.
So what you're doing is everybody who opts in, you send a video email. And what do you say in that, and how long is it?
It's less than a minute. And I make sure to use their name so they know that this is not a group email. So I'll say, hi, Fred, I noticed you just opted into my website. Thanks a lot. I really don't know where you're at in your career right now, whether you're just starting, whether you're well established, but I hope you'll find the content on the website and the free audio download helpful in getting you to where you want to be faster in your voiceover career. If you have any questions, comments, please feel free to drop me an email. Boom.
And almost everyone who does that comments about it.
Yes, I would say 9 out of 10 have
Got
been.
it. So, I mean, this coolvideotool.com. Now, I'm not saying that we can track specific numbers that say if you do this, you're going to make more money. But it seems to me with the response he's getting when he does this, that this makes a lot of sense. So, heads up to everyone who's in the group and everybody who's on the webinar that is, and I think most of the people that are on this have use of that video, that video tool to do that embedded in the email. Good. Couple things. I think, Bill, I know that you've got, Bill is the hardest working man in the voiceover business, and he's got reams of pages of narration he's got to read and get paid for. So why don't we release you now and let you go?
Thanks, Fred. Good to talk to you.
Good to have you. Okay, next on our agenda, because I know that Mr. Bill O'Hanlon is probably busy, has to run off too. Well, let me quickly, Mr. Bill O'Hanlon, are you
The
there?
second hardest working man in
In
show
some
business.
business, in the
Yeah,
monkey
that's right.
business.
In the monkey business, definitely.
Okay, so at publishing a book. Well, why don't we debrief people on publishing seminar that we just did here in New York City on Monday? Why don't you tell people a little bit about your thoughts on that, and I'll pull that up while you're thinking about it.
You know, four partners, Ron Pram Schaefer, Fred spoke second, Burke Allen spoke third, and I spoke fourth. And we all covered different aspects of writing, mostly the publishing area, how to both get published and what direction should you take for publishing and how to make money at that. Of course, all of us had reference to that, but Fred's presentation really focused on how, because most authors don't make a living at it, how can you increase your income? And so it was a pretty successful day. We had 46 people. We did it in New York City, and it was fun.
Okay, any thoughts on specifics of things that you learned or thought different
Well,
or interesting?
Fred has said on this seminar before that it's a really good idea to even if you speak for free, you can earn money. And I usually, as he's kidded me about it, I usually speak for a fee, and I do not pitch. Partly because people have restrained me from it, partly because the area that I speak, they're a little sensitive to it, but I could do it. And so Fred does this really nice meta pitch. He says, "Look, I'm going to teach you how to pitch while I'm pitching you." And so Ferg Allen got up there and did a pitch, and I did a pitch. I, really quickly, frantically in the back of the room, going on my Web Marketing Magic account, created a discount code and coupon and did a pitch, and we'll see how it goes. But Burke had forms there, and he got, I'd say he brought in that 10-minute period, he brought in $1,600, so that was good.
And Burke, is that accurate?
That's a little on the light side.
Yeah, good.
No, we did very well.
Close ones, yeah, and I knew it was up to about that. But yeah, Burke said he got some more later, so yeah, that's good. Little on the light side, so that's good.
Yeah. So we did very well. I mean, it was it was a great day. It was a lot of good information, and I've heard from a bunch of the attendees since then, just with emails saying, "Hey, thanks, you guys really gave above and beyond in the information portion of it, and we didn't feel like we were being overpitched and all that." So I think the attendees were very happy.
Yeah, one of the things that got me is I think I forwarded this email to you, Bill, but not to you, Burke. We got a response from someone
Yeah.
who thought our pacing was too fast. Well, I think that we're sort of fast paced to begin with. So
Sure.
you either need to keep up or get off the train, I think, huh? I
Yeah, I
don't,
think we packed a lot of content into
No,
9 hours, and they
yeah.
were
I'd
tired.
rather have that complaint than, gee, it was boring and you didn't cover enough.
yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. And by the way, for anybody who's watching or on the webinar, we're going to make those audios and/or videos available in a short period of time. So stay tuned. Bill, one of the things that we are also doing, and let's talk to people a little bit about this, is with publishingabook.com and with paidpublicspeaker.com, we are coming up with, in addition to sort of individual coaching, we're coming up with self-paced coaching. Why don't you share with everybody how this is working and what's going on so that people can benefit from that?
Yeah, I actually am getting a call in. Let me
Do you
just
need to
ignore and
take
I'll
it?
call her back in a couple minutes. No, that's fine. Let me just cover this and then I'll probably have to go because I'm expecting this call. But what we did was we divided it into three sections or three paths you can come into. And Fred's talked about this before in terms of the funnel and all that kind of stuff. But you know, the first one is you just go on the site, maybe four, I should say four directions or four pathways you can connect with us. First one, you go on the site and you hear us do a video pitch, And if you say, it's not from, or I don't have time for that right now, or I'm not sure, then we will send you to another page, because we're pitching you a coaching program that's $297 a month. And if you're a little uncertain or you're not ready to jump yet, then we say, okay, great. If you think you can do it on your own, how about a $97 self-paced thing? You can do it on your own. That's great. If you don't need the individual coaching, you want to pay that much, that's fine. So if they go off that page and they don't buy the $97 program, they can then get they get opted in. If they get a free gift for opting into our list, but also they get to see every one of our products that we're offering for free for people in our coaching program and people in that self-paced program. And there's a link to buy all of those products. So,
or to buy any of them.
Yeah, to buy any or all of them. There'll be bundles and there'll be all of them. And you can buy any one, or there'll be some bundles because we're putting them by topic basically. And so, we figure the least we'll get out of it if somebody leaves and they're at all interested in what we do is another name for our list.
Yep.
The most we'll get out of it is probably $297 a month, and then obviously they're in our list and they'll be consuming things and they'll like what we do and they'll probably do other things. So it's a nice model. We're doing that for both the speaking stuff and the author stuff, and Fred and I are going to do it for my niche, which is psychotherapists. And also we've come up with the very good idea for psychotherapists, but we probably shouldn't reveal that now.
Nope.
We're still
although
working
I did tell Bill DeWeese that I would talk to him personally about that. And you said 4 items. Did
Yeah.
I miss any? Because I only have 2.
Well, yeah. So the first thing is it's a video pitch for the 297 program.
Right.
The second thing is it's a 97 program.
Got it. That's
the third
right.
thing is you get opt-in. The fourth thing is you can buy any of our products. So I just divided it up differently than you did.
Got it. Fourth is any of the products. Cool.
Yeah.
Now, is there anything else that, I'm trying to think if there's other stuff that we can share. There was one guy actually that was in the group who was in the film business that I told to go see and talk to Jason. While I was there also, I also met with Jason's buddy Manish, who he's in charge of your very own, or he's helping us on this, your very own app.com. So if anybody wants to get their own app, and apparently my app has now been downloaded close to 1,000 times or something like that. So that's pretty cool. So if anybody wants their own app, and by the way, if you don't have your own app, this is going to be the equivalent of not having a website within the next 18 to 24 months. So if you want to get ahead of the curve.
Can I speak to that for a second? This is Jason.
Yeah, let me finish up, Jason, before you.
Okay, sure.
I think that everyone.
And Fred, I have to go, so I'm just dropping out. Hi, Jason. Good to hear your voice.
Good
Bye-bye.
deal. See you later.
Bye.
Thanks.
All right, bye-bye.
So one of the things you want to do is really look into the idea of making sure that whatever you provide to customers has a mobile component as well. So, Jason, what were you going to say? Sorry.
Just briefly, I had a couple of speeches recently, and I got to tell you, this app is really beneficial when you're out as a thought leader and you're on the move and you're talking to a group of people and you say, hey, anybody have an iPhone? Well, why don't you go ahead and look up my app and download it? That's a lot easier than a double opt-in, and now these people have you in the palm of their hand.
And by the way, I had a conversation with Manish about setting up, making it easy for people to opt in on the app, which he said they're definitely trying to figure out as well.
Oh, hi. I was just trying to get Ruth.
Oh, hey, Bill, we still hear you.
This is Bill O'Hanlon. Sorry.
Okay, I'm going to mute him. He doesn't know he's being heard. So, yeah, we've got your very own app, and that's...
sorry, I got cut off.
Hold on a second. Let me try and get rid of Bill O'Hanlon here. Anyway,
Right.
keep talking.
What have you got?
I'll just let Bill know he's being heard here. Go ahead and keep talking, Jason, would you?
Yeah, sure. So with your very own app, I also had a conversation with Manish briefly yesterday. So there's a lot of good things happening there. And
yeah, you're surprised that I took what?
Yeah, this is.
I can hear Bill as well.
Yeah, I know. So I'm trying to delete it.
I'm trying to not listen to him. So, um, well, here's where we're at as speakers and internet marketers. We're really on the ground floor of this thing, and the ability to set up an app for really just pocket change every month is pretty significant. I still don't see some of the other competitors in my space that have anything like this. So it's just great to go to an event and have this sort of technology. It just makes you, on one hand, look and feel pretty cool.
Yep.
And on another hand, talking about the opt-in, I have reached out. Well over 1,000 people have downloaded my app. I've had mine out there for a little bit longer than you. And from there's been quite a few people that have, although it's a little clunky still, within the app, they've given me their name and their email address. And what I've been able to do with the app, it's very easy. It's a couple clicks away that you can grab that information via a spreadsheet, copy and paste it, put it in your autoresponder, and at that point in time, most people, by the time I get around to it, they've already heard of me, they've gone through my app, they know who I am. So my opt-in rate, in that transfer is pretty significant. Then those guys are on my autoresponder and they're in that funnel.
Yeah, although the beauty is going to be where that whole process is automated.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. And there's been some other cool automations. I don't know if you've picked up on it, but the ability, at this point in time, I have my blog linked to the app as well as my Twitter account, as well as my YouTube channel, which means that every time I upload anywhere, anybody who has my app has direct access to me, and I'm not competing with the 5,000 other emails, in their email account to get my point across.
And now, can you put a little video together showing us all how to do that?
Yeah, I think that would be a nice your very own app 2.0 training material, right?
Yeah, I mean, the sooner that can get up, the better. I think that's a great example of how this app concept can be used effectively. And I'd like to see it, and I'm sure anybody else who's listening or watching this would want to see it as well.
Yeah, I'll put that on my ever-growing list of things to do.
Cool. So let me switch over to Burke for a second. Burke, so
okay, you got it.
Yeah, go ahead, Jason. Jason, you done or?
Oh yeah, I'm finished.
Okay.
You go ahead and talk to Burke here, but I'll be listening.
Okay, cool. Hey, Burke, so why don't you debrief people on what your thoughts were of the publishing seminar and how that went?
Well, it was great. We had a full room of folks who were hungry for content and, paid attention. And as you said, Fred, tried to keep up. I think one of the keys is, one of the reasons I like to work with you and the folks that you do joint ventures with, is it's not, an overly pitchy thing that doesn't have, a lot of meaty content. At the end of the day, all of this stuff comes back to, we have to supply good content for our clients and potential customers. And, that was another example all day long of the fact it was like turning on a garden hose and, or a fire hose and filling them up to the point where they had so much to walk out of there with.
Yeah.
So, that was a great event all the way around.
What do you think, what did you learn or discover that you didn't know before from just being there, either from what people asked as questions or anything else? Anything new come to mind for you?
Yeah, actually there was, and I think this is probably applicable for everybody on the call, all our JV partners certainly, is that we're all so close to our own individual area of expertise that sometimes we take the knowledge that we have accumulated over the last 2 or 3 decades of doing this somewhat for granted, and you begin to think, or at least I do, that, everybody knows this stuff because you deal with it every day. You're right there in the middle of it every day. But there were so many aha moments in that room for each of the 4 speakers where people were just going, oh yeah, I never thought of that, or wow, I can use these tips. I got an email today from a lady who had a radio interview today, and she said, and I used a lot of the great tips you gave me on how to do interviews during that interview. So, I think none of us need to take for granted what we know how to do, that everybody knows how to do it. There really is a lot of good information that we can share out there, and it's just finding the right way to package it up.
Absolutely. Now, the one thing that you got, did you set the date yet for the Media Mastery Workshop we should probably tell people about?
Yeah, I did. It's that third weekend in October, so it's the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd.
You always have it right on
Um,
my birthday. I like that.
well, we thought we would bring the cake out for you, and
Well,
I think it
listen,
was on your birthday last weekend, last year
yeah,
too.
it was.
So the cool thing about this training is we do it in a studio. We rent a studio facility out, and Fred, you were there last year. For the folks who are listening that aren't familiar with it, it's a 3-day workshop where we bring these national media people in and really put you through the paces. The first day is here's how you get interviews, and here's how you do interviews. And then the second 2 days, it's all in studio work. You're on camera, and then after you do the interview on camera, you're critiqued on that tape. You go to a radio studio, the same drill. We usually have a photographer there to do new headshots for you if you need it. So you really come out of there with a skill set to be ready to roll out onto national media.
Who's the right kind of person that should come to this? Because first off, why do you? This is one of the things that all of my JV partners are doing. Is all of them are doing some kind of a high priced event, and so we'll tell people a little bit about how to get some kind of a bonus or whatever if they want, but I mean, or a discount on that. But why do you think this event works so well?
Well, I think it's sort of what you said there, and you said, well, who's this event good for? It's not good for people who are just sort of wanting to dip their toe in to do, media. If you want to only do a couple of interviews here and there, and maybe only do them in your own hometown, this is one of those events. The old saying, "Go big or go home." This is a go big kind of event. So, I mean, if you're really serious about it and you can visualize yourself on CNN or Fox News or, the Howard Stern show or whatever the big media outlets are that you think would help push your project along, this is the event for that. If you've got a fear of, a lot of people have fear, I guess, of public speaking. If you've got a fear of being in front of a camera, this is the kind of thing that will help you get past that, or a fear of being, on the microphone. So
It's funny.
the people,
I'm looking at our roster of webinar attendees, and Harold Mangum is on the webinar right now. So he's one of the people who came last year.
That's right. That's right. Harold has a great memory product, and he wanted to be ready to go to get out and do some national media. He's based in Texas, and I was actually just thinking of Harold yesterday because they had those horrible tornadoes down around Dallas Fort Worth, and luckily they missed the city. But in any event, Harold went through the whole process, and I think he was kind enough to actually do a video testimonial for us at MediaMasteryWeekend.com. And, we have guys that come out of there, Fred, and ladies, who immediately go on national media. We have one guy who had not done any national television to speak of before this thing in late October, and he's done now, twice on Fox and Friends. He's done CNN Headline News. He did a sit-down interview with the Daily Buzz and with the Rachel Ray Show. And I think 100 and some radio interviews since then. So it really works. You learn how to get them and then how to do them.
Yeah. Now, Burke? What were some of the tips? Give people a little bit of an idea of what you talked about. Just regale us with the one sort of critical tip for everybody who missed it, who was there. What would you tell people with regards to, getting media and being effective?
Regale. That'll be my word of the day. I regale people.
Yes.
That's good. The biggest thing is, in my opinion, actually there are two. One is that it's not about learning publicity as much as it is learning how to be an expert in your field. It doesn't matter, we spoke to authors. It doesn't really matter if you're a fiction author or a nonfiction author. It's that expertise, that stuff that that the rest of the world doesn't know. That's what the media is looking for. If there's an airline story, they're looking for airline pilots. The last couple of days, they're looking for a lot of tornado experts and weather experts. So what is that thing that you know? And then secondly, how do you tie it in with a topical media event that's going on? Watch the news, watch these calendar events, and learn how to tie them in. If you can do those two things, that'll exponentially grow your opportunity to get free media exposure and sell just a ton of stuff.
That sounds great. Now, Dave, are you with us, Mr. Hamilton? Dave Hamilton? Dave Hamilton is on the webinar but can't be heard. Okay, so we'll skip Dave for a while here.
Hey,
Jason,
Fred, I have a question before you move
sure,
off of me, if I could,
please.
about apps a little
Okay,
bit. I'm
yeah.
a BlackBerry guy, so I don't have an Apple iPhone. The content on your personal app or the app that Jason did, uh, how different and how similar is it to the content that's on a website right now? And I know this is a new technology; it's evolving very much. But when you guys set this up, what's the same and what's different?
Well, first, let me say that right now I had the conversation with the guy who does the programming yesterday in New York, and it is not going to be very, it's not very distant in the not very distant future. Right now, these are all running on iPhones, and there are plenty of
Right.
folks who aren't on iPhones but are on other devices, other smartphones, Android based, whatever. And Manish seems to think he's the genius of this whole thing. He seems to think that that's actually going to be there's going to be plenty of apps for both platforms, and actually he tends to favor the Android platform for a number of different reasons. But basically, if you want to think about it, it's people are getting to the point where their smartphone has become their mobile web device as well as their mobile phone device as well as their everything. So it's almost like instead of being on your laptop when you're seated, at some place or on your desktop, you're in your mobile phone. So it's trying to sort of small down whatever you can and make it scalable to put on a smaller platform. Jason, I don't know, do you think that's about right?
Yeah, I think that's accurate in terms of the way people are using their iPhone app. In fact, or other apps if you have a smartphone. And for me, just as you were talking about, I find myself looking for my phone just so I can check email and do other things. So I'm multitasking while I have my phone headset on here.
Right.
And Berkeley, I imagine you're probably doing something similar.
Yeah, yeah. And so,
I,
so when you
I
guys
just
populated content on your apps, did you use a portion of your website content, or did you put some sort of different, unique things that are only on your apps?
we're too
Well, I can
lazy for
speak to
that.
that. I have a welcome message, for example, that's me talking. It's an audio, it's an MP3 recording that I made specifically to anybody who downloads my app. So when they get the app and they go through it and they're sitting there, and it does have a lot of robust content, some of which did come from my website, but there's other content that I put on there specific to somebody who downloaded the app. And the goal here and the goal for everything that, sometimes we forget about this, but we're trying to do business with people. So anything that can accelerate our ability to build a strong personal relationship is a tool that I want to be using, a tool that we should all be using.
Yeah, I agree. But
Makes sense.
the thing about it is, Burke, is that the app, if you think that, the proliferation of PCs, we know about that. But if you think about the cost of a smartphone and now how like the iPhone 3G that I have, I bought, almost, what is it, maybe 3 years ago now, I forget, but certainly 2 years ago. I mean, everyone in every country is going to have a smartphone almost at some point. This is going to become the single most ubiquitous, computer in your hand kind of device. So for us to not be able to capitalize on that with the folks that we deal with would be crazy. So that's what we're going to, all of us are trying to do, is to try and make sure that we're on the the cutting edge of that. And so anybody who's listening to this who has a platform of any sort whatsoever, you should be going to your very own app.com and doing this. And Manish was talking to me about the fact that there are a lot of different conferences, and this is one of the things, Burke, we maybe want to talk to him about, is putting up an app. And he's got a special, interesting pricing structure that he does. So we could take publicityseminar.com or mediamasteryweekend.com and put up an app just for that. And he's really using that effectively in the convention and seminar business.
Okay.
Worth doing. I don't know if Dave he's on the call, but he's not responding. Are you there yet, Dave? Nope. It's interesting. He's listed, but he must be busy doing something else. He's got the kids to tend to or something. So, Burke, let me continue with you then.
Sure.
Let's talk about one of the things that this is sort of like, it's interesting because the idea that Bill and I came up with that we have to keep a little bit under wraps right now. How many times have you said to your spouse or your friends, I think I got it. I think I got the really one of the really big idea, the multi-million-dollar idea. I know I've said that on numerous occasions, and I feel like Harold Camping because I've been dead wrong most of the time. But for some reason, I feel a lot more certain on this last thing that Bill and I came up with. And if we do, it's going to be huge, and it's also going to be something that we can do with and for other people to help share that wealth. So first thing we're going to do is try and make sure we lock it down ourselves. But then after that, we're going to do some more. But I just encourage people, you know, to start when you start learning information marketing. Um, there's so many people that are making these promises about how you're going to get rich overnight, and I just suggest that instead of buying those materials, you just buy lottery tickets. And speaking of lottery tickets, uh, Burke, tell people about Richard Lustig and what he's doing.
Here's a good example of a guy who, he's not doing it perfectly, but he's doing a lot of things right with our help as an information marketer. He is a guy who plays the lottery and has for 20 years now, I guess. He figured out in his mind what is a method to increase your chances of winning the lottery, and he's been very successful with it. So the guy, has now hit 7 lottery game grand prizes, and he's hit a couple of dozen other smaller prizes. And when I say smaller, in the thousands of dollars. He showed some other folks how to use the method. A couple in Tampa hit using his method for $2 million. And 2 weeks ago, a gentleman in Iowa called my office, and he had purchased Richard's method and hit for $9.1 million. So needless to say, he was pretty happy.
Now,
So what Richard has done,
were you able
I'm
to
sorry?
were you able to get testimonials, video testimonials, or anything from those two people? One in Iowa and the other one wherever they were.
Yeah, we did. We got written testimonials and actually captured video of the guy at the Iowa Lottery press conference talking about reading Richard's book. So that was great, and it's short. It's not a book per se as much as it is a method. It's short and easy to learn and understand. So Richard, having seen you speak, Fred, at our Media Mastery Weekend, has now done an audio version of the method, and he's turned it into an audio product, and has also translated it into Spanish, and has done interviews with Univision in Spanish, and has done a ton of radio, ton of TV, a lot of print pieces, and with that media alone has become one of the biggest selling authors for his publisher, and sold well into the 6 figures of this winning lottery method.
That's great. Yeah. So one of the things also, Burke, on yours that I wanted to do is, like we said when we got together, the thing that's holding you up, and I bet it's something that's holding a lot of people up. At publicityseminar.com, we're trying to put together, like we have with voice-over-training.org, a lot of products and content and all kinds of other stuff. And one of the things that's holding you up is Dave Hamilton's area, and I've asked for Dave now a couple times. I wonder if he can hear me yet.
I think there a couple of months ago, Fred, Dave was able to hear you. He was not able to participate in the call. I bet it's the same thing.
Well, I see him with a microphone here that looks just like yours, and so according to my system, he should be able to talk. But for some reason, he can't. And if he can hear me, why don't you, Dave, put something in the questions thing so I can know, what's going on here. So I've got something. Anyway, but we'll try and figure that out. But with you really have a problem that people like Dave Hamilton are expert at trying to help and figure out, and that is that your problem doesn't lie with producing content. It lies with some of the technical elements, correct?
Yeah. It's getting sort of a framework in place with a WordPress platform that I can get in and manipulate and easily post video blogs and written blogs and content on the site.
Well,
So at this point, we're just not there.
Here's what I suggest you do. I suggest you contact Bill DeWeese and say, Bill, you're doing all this and you're getting stellar results. Could you record on the screen exactly what you do so we can copy it? Again, I think that this is one of the reasons why it's sort of nice to have a variety of different, people that are involved as proteges, because everybody can help everyone else. And so I think that you've got to you need to sort of, let's list what are the challenges. So let's list those. So number one, the challenges are what?
I need a step-by-step on how to post content on the site.
Hey, Fred.
Yeah. Oh, you there?
Oh, jeez. I've been screaming at my computer. It must be my microphone. Anyway, can you hear me? Is there any echo?
Yeah, I can
okay?
hear you fine. You're
Okay.
good. Just use the Mac and you should be fine.
Well, I was using the Mac.
Well, you use the Mac you don't need speakers or a microphone. I'm using my internal built-in. Works fine.
Okay. Anyway.
So the challenges that Burke has, let's list them. Give me the biggest challenge, Burke, is what?
The biggest challenge is being able to easily post content on the site.
Okay, so in order to easily post content on the site that is set up at publicityseminar.com is a WordPress site. And so I believe that to be the case. Can you tell from looking at the source code on that, Dave?
Publicity Seminar. I'm going there as we speak.
Okay, well, let me go to it right here and see if I can pull. If I do view source, will that show you what you need?
Sure.
Okay.
Actually, I'm there now as well.
View source. I don't. Page source. Here we go.
Page source.
Here we go. You tell me. Is this?
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Yes. There's plugins that say WP content, so it is.
Okay. So where do you see that, by the way, in here?
If down about 12 lines, you see start script generated, and there's a URL that says publicity seminar /WP content.
Yes, I do. I see that right here. For those of you who are watching on the screen here. Okay, so it is a WordPress-based site. So let's go back to Burke's question. And Burke's question is, easily post content on a WordPress site. Now for him, and this is again videos that you may want to put together, he needs to know how to post text content. He needs to know how to do video content, and that's, whatever. And he also needs to know how to post audio content. Right. And
let me jump in with, I guess, the next question. Now that we know this is a WordPress site that Stanley set up, would the easiest thing, guys, be to sort of look at Bill DeWeese's site, which is laid out very well, and sort of duplicate the look and feel of that site, and then just substitute out my own audio, video, and text? Is there any reason not to do that?
Dave?
Hey, Fred, can I jump in with something?
Yeah.
This is a bit different, but it's something I've been working on for the past week, and it's because of frustrations like what Burke's having. And if it makes you feel any better, this is almost everybody I hear has the same issue. Is, man, I want it to both look good but be very simple to use, and that seems to be an elusive combination. And what I've been working on is an authority site that meets both of those, where it's very simple and it's kind of a template where it can go up very fast, but it's also very easy to add content. And now or later on, I would be interested in people's feedback on the design of it. But to answer your question, Bert, in updating content, on the site that I'm building, I'm going to make it as easy, but with step-by-step training on how to do that. For your particular site, we could go in and show you how exactly to add content, but this is the problem that I'm working on solving.
And
Good.
So you're working on solving the problem. When will the problem be solved?
Well, if you want to look at the site to see what you think, we can look at it now if you want.
Okay.
It's webmarketingmagician.com/authority.
Okay, here it is. Pulling it up right now.
And this is one that I'm just kind of populating it with just filler content, but it's going to have an opt-in form that you see, a couple featured areas,
So
a
here's my
list of
question.
a whole bunch.
So
Okay.
Dave, you're saying that this exact site that I'm scrolling to right now, in a matter of minutes, Burke could have something up similar that would look exactly like this, but with his images and his content?
Exactly, and even different background colors or things. But yes, to answer your question, and there's two options. He may want to do it himself and get a how-to guide, or he may want to hire me. And in, I would say, almost real time, although it depends on my schedule, I could have a site like this where you could just go through, and even if you go through the pages, I tried to put the pages that people might want to have from services, products, testimonials, things like that. And again, people would just go through and fill in with their own content.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Okay, now why don't you quickly, could you say, because somebody asked, Harold asked, and there are other people who are wondering, what is pricing for something like this? Do you have where's our price list for all these items that you do?
Yeah, well, that's not I'm working on that because my goal is it's a do it yourself, and I sell the guide, I sell the theme, and they can go and do it themselves. Or if they hire me, this would probably be in the $400 to $500 range for me to just set it up for them, and they go through and fill it in. Or if they want to supply me with Word documents of their content and I populate it, it would be more because it'd be more time. But again, it would be much cheaper and much less frustration than trying to start from scratch, which I know a lot of people do.
Yeah, well, one of the things is that one of the things.
I know you don't have all the prices just yet. Oh, sure. Go ahead, Fred.
Well, on this, Dave, one of the things that we need to do is, in order for this to be easily, effective and whatever, we probably need to have at least 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 different people who are using it, and so we can point to them. So we should probably try and find a way to get a number of these up, preferably for the JV partners, at a subsidized rate, so that people who, if we were right now on this and we had like 1,000 people on the webinar and we said, here's Dave Hamilton, here's what he does, here are 8 examples of sites that he's doing that are live right now as we speak.
Well, I'll put it. I think that's an excellent idea, and I would go so far as to say, if the first 10 people to contact me, we'll decide on a discount rate, and
they're not going to contact you unless you can tell them what it is.
Tell me what the discount rate is?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there are people watching going, yeah, I'm in, but what do you mean? First 10 people contact me, the major thing they're going to jump at is what's it going to cost?
Sure. Well, why don't we say that $400 gets exactly this,
okay,
and then
what are they getting for that? They're getting this
they're
website?
Getting exactly what they see here. The only caveat is they have to keep my picture right there at the top.
That's a deal killer.
Yeah, right. They will get exactly this, and I mean exactly. You look at the pictures. You look at
how fast will they have that?
You know what? It depends on. I'd say within 24 to 48 hours.
Okay, let's say 72 hours.
Okay.
To make sure. So, in other words, you're going to have this now. Will that include their content, or in other words, all of this right now is the lorem ipsum stuff that has really, you've got no real content in there. How are they going to give that to you for that price, or are they going to do that themselves?
No, they're going to, for that price. See, that's where the time comes in, because they give me all this stuff and they want to tweak it. The $400 gets them the site structure, fully functional with dummy content.
Okay, so now the dummy content, here's what I want to know. I'm listening to this webinar, watching this webinar. I'm saying, wow, that's a great deal, Dave. I want to take you up on this. But how difficult is it going to be to do what you're asking me to do? I know all this web stuff is complicated. Is it going to be difficult for me to put in the stuff that's going to go right under welcome to my awesome site? Is it going to be difficult for me to put in stuff where it says free tips or in this area or in this area. How difficult is it going to be for me?
Well, that's the critical question, and I'm going to make it. My passion is making this stuff easy for people. Now, this is pre-beta, so my full training won't be done, but what I will do is I'll record about 10 videos, and they'll be on a bullet list, and it'll say, how do I change the text at the top of the homepage? Watch this and show exactly how.
Nice.
How do I change the featured area 1 and 2?
Okay, you take a total Mr. Stupid like me that knows nothing about this stuff. Actually, Burke, I'll use you in this case.
Thanks.
Take someone like Burke, doesn't know his, head from Shinola or whatever that is, and he's going to.
It's Dr. Stupid to you.
Exactly.
Right. So he does this. How long is it going to take him to figure this out? He gets it from you. How long is it going to take Burke to figure it out?
The key is preparation. And I would tell people the first thing to do is go sit down and don't work on your site, work on the writing. What do you want to say up there? Because the copy and paste into the right areas is not hard when you know exactly where to do it. But most people, they start, they're like, I don't know what I want to say, and they tweak this, and it gets complicated. So I would say go through the site. I mean, go through the About Me, the products, everything, and think about what you want to say and write it down in a Word document, and then come back and do it.
Oh, these are live. I didn't know this. So these are, we've got all these things already filled out, huh?
They'll get this site. Click on the products page.
Okay.
I think it's looking pretty cool. And again, I'm just kind of working on it, but they could have all of this. And I would say,
so the site the site is basically done. They just need to put in their own stuff, because everything that everybody is in information marketing would want this. So each of these pages is actually a really good page to have. The media page is blank, but you could put videos and stuff in there. Testimonials. Yeah. Again, what I would do, Dave. Oh, you've got some dummy testimonials here now. Do you have places where people could put video testimonials? Because these are just written testimonials here.
Yep, exactly.
Now,
and
again put in there as an example of video testimonial, because if not, people won't know that they can do that. They'll also not know. Sure. You can put an audio testimonial. Throw one of those on this sample page as well.
Sure. And I'm working hard to get this exactly tweaked, and I think I'm about a day away from having all the little kinks worked out and having it ready to present. But I'll probably, when it's done, I'll sell the package with training for $700-800 range, and then hire me and my team to work with you, and we'll design a custom banner, we'll design some custom product graphics, and that may be in the $1,500 range or more, depending on what we want to do with it. But again, it's fast, it's efficient, and I think it looks good.
Okay, good. Burke, now the problem is that right now Burke's site is set up using Stanley's Freddy theme for me, but I think that this already done. Why would you say they should do this instead of that?
I wouldn't necessarily. It's just a question of one, aesthetics, which one you like better. But truthfully, the theme that I'm using has got a lot of features in it where you don't have to go and do coding. It just there's boxes that you plug in. There's social media boxes. There's video things that you can do that just work right out of the box. So it just makes it a lot easier in my estimation.
And just so people understand this, and this is a great question that Harold has, and then I'll mention Alice's comment here. But Harold says, how often can we update it? Well, how about every 10 seconds if you want to, Harold?
Yeah. And if I could just speak to that, because I know that I've been a webmaster for years, and my thinking is I say 90% of people I talk to have this love-hate relationship with their webmaster where they do good work, but you can't get in touch with them to make one little typo change. And I say, if they're the webmaster, what does that make you?
The web slave.
And but if you can empower people to go in and change it like you change a Word document, then it opens up a whole new range of being able to edit it with just a little bit of training.
Well, let's ask Burke. Hey, Burke, what do you think of this as a look and feel? Now, obviously, your banner is going to be different, obviously, and everything else, and you're going to have a better looking picture than Dave. So,
Clearly.
Yeah, we're not setting the bar very high there. No, this is exactly what I need, and this is set up very similarly, actually, to the AlanMediaStrategies.com website that I hired Dave to do the update on, and I can tell you, Fred, that is very easy for me to post updates and content to, and I do on a regular basis. So no, I think that's the key. This is what we're looking for.
And this is, I think, and I'm wondering how Stanley feels, because I mean, he spent a lot of time working on the Freddy theme, which is a different look and feel. But I think that this gives people some options. But I think that what makes this kind of a thing work, and Stanley, this is why I think it's sort of good here, is that all of these items are already sort of pre-done. It's got a very good look and feel. And so, again, I just don't want him to think that he did all that work for nothing. Alice, by the way, made a comment, which I think is valuable. Alice Wren says that her site, she does a lot of work with people with this kind of stuff as well. And she says, coming up with the text first is a really good idea, because people, they worry about how's the thing going to look and is it going to work? Yeah, well, you haven't come up with your copy for what you're going to put on your site. So what I would suggest people do is go through each one of these tabs here, our services, products, blog, media page, testimony, and just make sure take a look at this site, which is at webmarketingmagician.com/authority, and come up with all of these, like the hot articles. You better have 5 or 6 articles ready to go. Now, you don't have to have them ready to go today, to contact Dave, but I think that in order to get your site up quickly, Dave's shell has got to have stuff to put in it, or else you got nothing.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got to tell you that the way the products are laid out, that's really slick. If we could go back there for a second while you still have it up there. This has been a headache for me with all of my themes and different websites that I've worked on, making this look good.
Yeah, this looks great, Dave. I mean, this is good. So, I mean, and the thing that I would do, though, is like when you go to testimonials, go ahead and just record a video when you get off the call here and record an audio so people understand when they go there that you can have audio and not just text here.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, I'll put, that's a great idea. I'll put that in there, and I've like I say, I'm almost done with the tweaks, but it's these little things I want to get done, so I can, and then I'm going to clone it for new people.
And on the media page, feel free to grab. I don't know where my stuff is, where I've got that interview from that I used, but put something on here. This being blank, people are going to go, what goes there? Well, grab my stuff from my interview that I did on the local ABC affiliate in Vegas and put it on there.
Yeah. Wait till you see how slick this theme does videos. It does it better than any site I've seen. So I just wish I had another day to get it ready for everybody to see. But honestly, by next week when we come on, this will not only be done, but the training will be done and it'll be ready to sell. But again, if people want to get in on the pre-beta just to get a couple live sites, they need to contact me quick.
Okay, now hold on. Let's let people know who are watching this how to contact you, and then so they should contact you at hamilton33@gmail.com and put Fred's webinar in the subject line.
Yeah, that was my private personal email, but let's go put that on the internet now.
No, I mean, but the thing about it is we can put whatever you want in there.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Dave will not respond to any solicitations for amorous activity. He's married. He has a good-looking wife.
Yeah, right, exactly. And then I'm coming to Vegas in a week. That's not good. So, yeah, if they contact me and say this now.
What's the better one?
Dave at wmmagician.com.
Okay, let's do that instead. Don't get him in trouble with his wife. Don't contact him at that other one. I'm going to get in trouble. Okay, so Dave at wmmagician.com.
Cool.
Comment from someone?
Yeah, I made a comment, Fred. I think it's really slick.
I do too.
And you know what? I'm realizing, I've been sitting on these webinars and everybody's got their niche. And, with the voiceover, the media and the film, I thought, I'm kind of a jack of all trades, but then I realized over time that if I can make websites very easy and affordable and look good for different niches, like we're working with Jason on a filmmaker's theme that
Yep.
is perfect for that niche. I'm working with my father, who trains real estate agents on how to put up a property site, and again, without all this mystery of how do you do web technology,
way,
but it just worked. Yep.
Dave, I think this thing under services is great, because now under services, I can have 4 different categories or tabs here, and that this is really clear and easy. And the question I have is, this is seeing the front of the site. When I see the back end of this site, is it going to be as easy for me to put up the content as it is looking at the front of this site?
Well, it won't, maybe not as easy as when you're looking at it, but I tell you what, if people will follow the training, and not just video training, I plan to have some people learn by printing out a cheat sheet and following along instructions.
Yeah.
And I want to have that ready. So again, it's how do I update my services page? How do I update my testimonials? How do I add a video? How do I, all these things that I know they're going to need to do to get it set up. And then the ongoing things, I got a new article. How do I post it? I'll have that ready both in video form and print out the cheat sheet, keep it by your computer, and the first couple times you'll need it, then you won't even need it. You'll know how to do it.
Now, Dave, I got a question for you. This is obviously the authority site. Can I assume that there's also going to be one for a squeeze page and a sales page?
Oh, funny you should mention that. I'm also about a couple days away. If you want to show people that that
/ what? Sales?
well, actually, it's 7minuteminisite.com/demos.
That's right. 7-minute mini sites. Eventually, that should be back on this page, shouldn't it?
Yeah, they will be. They'll be consolidated.
Oh, / demo.
/demos.
Demos. Okay, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen this before. So now what's going to happen is that you're going to be able to produce a long sales page. Let me enlarge the type here if I can. Huh. Anyway, not enlarging. So we've got long sales pages, short sales pages, squeeze pages, and then the 3 down here are squeeze. You still haven't changed it. Put me up there with Steve Jobs and bumped Jason off of that.
I forgot. Jason, have you seen that yet?
Was I featured and now I'm gone?
Well, no.
You're
still
there.
there.
Fred is gone.
I'm trying to get you kicked off.
No, I haven't seen it, but I think that's great.
So it's just my 4 heroes, I'm just highlighting them. So.
Oh,
wow, Dave, you really know how to create a rift between myself and Fred.
Right.
Yeah, you put me up there next to George and Tony Robbins.
That's
well, that's true. For everybody listening, that's accurate. I am one of the foremost authorities in the filmmaking space, so of course I should be there.
Well, there you go.
So here's
in the Cleveland area.
Here's his dad's site, and this is demo 5. Is this for a book?
Yeah, this is just a quick, way to sell a book,
Okay.
And
So again, you've got sites that are specific to what people want in this space. So, whoops.
Yeah, I want that one right there.
Yeah.
I mean, so this is the beauty of this. People want it easy. They don't want to sit there. What is it? / demos. Here we go. So you want to be able to have, people want to be able to have, give me a site that I can use for a squeeze page with video. Give me one that I can use for a sales page. Yeah, they want all these things you have listed here. Give me something to promote my book. I mean, this is great. Give me something to promote an event. It should all be done, and the only thing we have to do is drop images. Now, are you going to tell people in your training what size of image has got to go in and all the other specs and make it easy for them?
I'm going to do all of that. And here's one thing that I've decided is that, well, in my mind, features are the enemy of simplicity. And if somebody comes along and says, oh, this is nice, but I'd like, 3 columns, and I'd like this in a flash intro, I'm like, nope, wrong theme. But if you want to take one of these and, replace the banner image, replace the video, and change the text, this is going to be very easy, because there's a million products on how to do websites, but then they show you, here's what you get, and there's 20 DVDs and 6 manuals, and nobody wants to go and sit and read all of that. I want to be able to snap my fingers, and I got a site so I can move on with my marketing efforts.
Okay, so the next question everybody will have is, well, okay, this looks great, and you've got all these different templates, but how long will it really take, to get these done? I mean, you got them all up here. You got 6 of them. So if I wanted, if we were in a speed test here and I had to get a book promotion site up and running, assuming you were there to help me, how long would it take me to get it up if I had all my copy written and the image for the book?
Okay. Well, see, now here I've broken it down into 3 steps, and each are equally important. There's preparation, installation, and customization.
Okay.
Preparation, well, you got to write the copy, you got to get your book image and your banner image, everything, and who knows how long that'll take, but do that first. The second step, installation, is WordPress, this theme, and then I have kind of a template that you got to install. That I time myself when I do it, and it's 4.5 minutes to get that done, really.
So now, if somebody's completely web stupid, if you took a web stupid person, like, that didn't know anything about it, which is great, if you know nothing because this isn't your thing, and that person went through the training, within a day they could have a couple of these sites up, right?
I absolutely believe it. Now there's a caveat, is I'm expecting them to have the same tools that I use in my training.
Yep.
For instance, I say use Bluehost as your web host, and there's reasons I say that. But if they say that's okay, I have GoDaddy, I'm like, I'm not going to try to support that. I'm not going to train for every possible variance. If you want to do it my way, awesome. You can follow the steps in the cheat sheet exactly. If you want to go off the reservation, you're kind of on your own, just because what am I going to do? Train for every possible thing people want to use. So, but
I think that's smart, Dave, because having used in those 2 examples, one of them gets real painful.
Yeah, well, but the thing is also, though, Dave, and again, this is where what we've talked about before is that when people are splitting like various deals and commissions, have you yet tried that thing where people are able to split the commissions from an affiliate deal? Is that product working?
Jason and I are working on that. I think it's promising. So we're not there yet, but it basically splits a PayPal payment in multiple different ways, which just saves all the accounting. So we're not there, but I have high hopes for it.
Okay, well, obviously it's not quite as easy as your stuff. So what I was asking for people who are watching or listening to this, my question is that there are times when 2 or 3 parties might be splitting an affiliate commission where they're all involved as JV partners in something. And when that happens, you want to make sure that there's a system to do it automatically. So that's looking promising at this point.
I think I know exactly what URL you're going to take for the affiliate, Fred. So right now I want you to know I'm registering every potential URL for this thing. But I know your code too. But with that said, Dave and I are both very excited. We'll bring you into the loop. But for any listeners out there, there's a tool that we're researching right now that allows you to split equity between JV partners, but on top of it, you can get affiliates. So let's say that in this case, Dave, Fred, and myself go into business with a joint venture, and we split it 3 ways. But then we want to give 50% to anybody who signs up as an affiliate. Ideally, when that sale is made, the affiliate gets paid, and then the equity is split 3 different ways on whatever's left over. Yeah. I never see the full revenue, so that means that when accounting comes, I only account for the actual revenue that I got, and not necessarily the cost of the product sold, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And now, you know what? We've gone over our time here, so I just wanted to tell everybody that there's always a lot of great information on these. These are always posted at fredgleeck.com /webinars. So you should take a look at that for anything that you've missed. Make sure and come back to next week's, which we do every week, same time, same channel, on these webinars, and tell people about it. But go back and watch the ones that you may have missed at fredgleeck.com/webinars. And please tell your friends, tell your relatives, and tell their relatives and their animals and dogs too. So thank you everyone for being on the call. Sorry we went a little bit over. There was a lot of information. Contact Dave, as he says here, at dave@wmmagician.com. And thank you to all the JV partners, obviously Jason, Burke, and Bill O'Hanlon and Bill DeWeese earlier. Thank you, folks. Thanks.
Okay, see you, Fred.
Thank you.
Thanks, Fred.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
The organizer has ended the session, and this call will be